Today is the big old tariff day, and after 90 days of delays and a few more weeks of delays and 90 deals in 90 days, which is absolute bullshit because we didn't get any of those fucking deals. The Japanese deal, the UK deal, the EU deal, all of them have shitloads of caveats, and none of it's really working out really well for Donald Trump. And on a personal note, I purchased something recently that I could not get here in America, and I nearly had to pay double for it. It was like, I think the cost of the item was like $80, and then I ended up having to spend like $50 in tariffs plus the tax and the delivery, ending up having to pay double for it. But that's a personal thing. Anyway, we've got that's Donald Trump. We've got Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and he is on MSNBC. And just right there, just the fact that he is on MSNBC as opposed to going on the CNBC, Fox News, Business, Hug Box, he is literally on a quote unquote left site trying to sell this tariff nonsense. And it's not popular. Nobody wants this. It's all basically just a regressive tax meant to hit us in the pockets. And when I say a regressive tax, what I mean is if a rich person buys a loaf of bread and a poor person buys a loaf of bread, they're spending the same amount of money, but the percentage of the money that the poor person is spending on that loaf of bread is a much higher percentage than it is for a wealthy person. So it's a regressive tax on the lower and middle income people. Rich people don't give a shit. They'll wait out the tariffs until, we get a Democratic president, they get rid of the tariffs, and then they'll have cornered the market because they will be the last businesses standing, the ones with the most amount of money. Anyway, I'm going off topic. Well, it's not really off topic. It's just, a side point. But anyway, let's have a listen to the MSNBC host here on Morning Joe. Just ask a simple question to Scott Bessent and watch him just flounder and stutter like a moron, because all he has got to do is go out there and, talk for an audience of one, and that is the dear leader, Donald Trump.
In a changing world. Mr. Secretary, there's one question I got to ask you, because there has been some confusion. So we've got a tariff of, 50%? On Brazil now, I think. And so... By
the way, that 50% tariff on Brazil is only because of Donald Trump's petty little ego. The president of Brazil, Lula da Silva, has re-arrested Bolsonaro for reaching out to Donald Trump in hopes that Donald Trump will put pressure on Lula to not prosecute him for trying to overthrow democracy in 2021. Brazil basically said, ooh, look, the Americans tried it. Let's do the same thing in our election. And it failed in Brazil. But the difference is in Brazil, they actually prosecute criminals as opposed to re-electing them.
If someone here, an importer, wants to buy Brazilian products today or tomorrow and import them, they're going to pay 50% to the Treasury. And so who writes that check?
And before we hear his answer, I want you to understand this. We buy about 25% of our beef from Brazil. 25%. Putting a 50% tariff on that is going to be hitting you in the pocket at the grocery store. The prices of burger and it's not like America doesn't like fucking burgers, right? But when you are going to the grocery store, when you are going to your favorite hamburger place, those prices are going to be going up. Also, we get a large amount of our fish from Brazil. And not to mention coffee, which we cannot grow in America. And I hear you out there, oh, we can grow some in Hawaii. Have you seen the size of Hawaii? Do you think that they could turn all of the islands of Hawaii into coffee fields for Americans? Even if they turn every island, it wouldn't be enough. Nowhere near enough. Do you know how much coffee gets drunk in America? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, a couple of things. First, we could have substitutions, so there's very little that only comes from Brazil.
I just told you.
It could come from Argentina. It could come from...
We get about, I think, 5% of our beef from Argentina, 25% from Brazil. It's going to hit you in the pocket, folks.
Right, but assuming it does come from Brazil, say, or it comes from any country with a tariff, who writes the check to the Treasury?
Well, the check is written to the person who receives it at the dock in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. The check is written by the person who receives it at the dock. So the tariff is paid in this country by the importer, is that right?
But the Brazilian exporter could decide that they want to keep market share. They could lower their price.
Is that how capitalism works? Big industry will decide, you know what, we'll eat this cost, so we won't pass it on to the consumer. We'll eat the cost. Yeah, man. That's how big business works. That's how importing industries work. He is gaslighting the fuck out of us, pretending like we have no idea how any of this shit works.
That the full 50% of the tariff, say, and
they can eat part of the cost. They can eat part of the tariff,
which is what we've seen.
Okay.
No, you've not. No, you've not. You have not seen importers eating the cost. You've not seen industry that makes the products eating the cost. We would not, if we were exporting something to another country, we would not eat the cost to keep market share low so it'll be bought. That's not how things are done. That's not how capitalism works. And to pretend like that is how it works is an absolute fucking lie coming from a guy like this. He knows better. He damn well knows better.
Check is written by the importer right at the dock.
Yeah, and then the importer can pass it on or not.
They do pass it on. Oh, that pause right there. I mean, that pause says everything. They can pass it on or not. No more questions, y'all. No more questions. Anyway, Scott Bessent, my God. Look, I know what you're doing. You are doing this because Donald Trump wants you to do this. He wants you to go out here and sell this bunch of bullshit to the American public. But I guarantee you in about 6 months, everybody's going to be hating this shit. Man, when Christmas comes around and the price of toys goes up astronomically, you don't think that red state, blue state, Republicans, independents, Democrats, they're going to be saying nothing about this? They are going to be seeing how much more everything is at minimum. I mean, look, this whole tariff thing was just ridiculous in the first place. It was a scattershot, chaotic idea to start with. I'm going to put tariffs on every country, including my allies. I mean, if you were trying to put tariffs on an economic, quote unquote, enemy, that's one thing. Pointed tariffs at certain industries so you could build up those industries in this country. That's another reason that a tariff could work. But you have put tariffs on every country. Bare minimum. All costs are going to go up at least 10% because that's the minimum amount of tariff that Donald Trump has put on any one country. Minimum 10%. But then you have the EU is threatening to put 50% tariffs on, 50% on Brazil because he doesn't want Lula to prosecute Bolsonaro for trying to overthrow the Brazilian government. Everything that Donald Trump does is because he wants people to come to him and grovel. And what he's succeeding in is speed running, passing the economic torch from America to China. Because when you are Brazil at this point, right now you're going to get hurt. Everybody's going to get hurt by this. It's not just Americans. Everybody across the planet is going to get hurt by this. But if I was a Brazilian leader or if I was, a European leader, I would start making inroads with other countries because America is not the good bet anymore. It's not the safe bet anymore. And then, of course, when all of this starts to happen, our bond rates are going to go down. And that means that economically, we're going to get hit in the pocket yet again. We're already there with stagflation. We're already there, meaning the jobs are going down and prices are going up. And when jobs go down, Donald Trump says, I don't like that. The guy says that the jobs went down. I don't believe it. I think it's fake news. Fire that guy. I'm going to hire somebody that tells me the numbers that I want to hear. Well, that right there is going to make Wall Street jittery. It's going to make economists jittery. And nobody's going to believe the numbers that you're saying anyway. So we are successfully handing the world economic mantle over to China. Other countries are already making new trade arrangements because the United States is not a good bet anymore. And even if in 2028 we get, an AOC type, a J.B. Pritzker, even a greasy Gavin Newsom, and then Gavin gets rid of all the tariffs and he starts reaching out to all the other trade partners out there. And they're going to be like, yeah, but maybe in 4 years, we're going to get another psycho-fascist. How can I trust you? I mean, you got out of the Paris Climate Accord. You got out of the Iranian trade deal. I mean, not the trade deal, the Iranian nuclear deal, the JCPOA. You shut down talks with Cuba. You have tariffed everybody, including your own allies, even the closest allies, Canada and Mexico. How can we trust you again? That is going to be a decades-long affair to get back in the good graces of our allies, even if that's possible to do. And in the meantime, all of these countries are going to be making deals with other countries. They're going to be able to, buy and trade much more freely elsewhere and not here. I mean, this isolationist idea on trade is going to hit us first. You're going to be making them feel pain too. And smaller countries with less wealth will come and grovel at your feet, and it'll make your ego feel really big, Donald Trump. And you'll be like, oh, I'm a big guy. They come here and they kiss my ass and they bring me gifts. But big countries, they're not going to do that, man. After World War II, we helped rebuild Europe. We helped them, with building and also economically to help them get back on their feet. And we became the indispensable nation. And many nations looked up to us as that quote unquote shining city on a hill. And that gave us carte blanche the world over. And then slowly but surely we have been chipping away at that. And now our economic plan is, oh yeah, I'll drop a bomb on you. Meanwhile, China is building up an economic coalition called BRICS. And they're out there going, hey, I noticed you don't have a very good infrastructure in your country. How about we help you build out that infrastructure in exchange for some mineral rights or, some of your products that only you can make or grow in your country, and we'll help you out with your infrastructure. That's the kind of thing that we used to do, but we're no longer doing that. It's either, coercion at the end of a stick or go fuck yourself. And in turn, fucking us in the process. Anyway, Jesus Christ, man. This is just the beginning. And whether or not Taco Trump chickens out on some of this stuff, he might very well do that. But you are already seeing the stock market fall. And normally that's not a big indicator for the rest of us. That's just how rich people feel. But when they start feeling bad, they start laying off people. And then you don't get a job. Jobs don't go up, they go down. Prices of goods go up. You can't afford it because you ain't got a job anymore. And around we go. Like I said, by Christmas time, if all of this holds, we're going to be seeing and feeling the pinch real soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.